Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Samantha Barrett, and I'm the Assistant Director of Regional Alumni Engagement for the Southeast US. I thank you all for being with us today and hope that you are all healthy and safe. The Rutgers University Alumni Association and the Rutgers School of Environmental and Biological Sciences offers virtual programs to highlight the important work being done at the university and around the world by our alumni and to help keep alumni connected. Just a bit of housekeeping before we begin. All attendees have been placed on mute for the duration of this discussion. If you have questions, please send them via the Q&A option at any time during the presentation to be discussed at the end. This event is being recorded and will be posted online after the event for continued enjoyment and for those who are unable to make it this evening. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Karyn Malinowski, Director of the Equine Science Center at Rutgers. Dr. Malinowski is an accomplished equine scientist, a professor of animal science, and is the founding director of the Rutgers Equine Science Center at the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station, NJAES. She has served as a faculty member at the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences since 1978 in various roles, including extension specialist in equine sciences, animal sciences professor, founding director of the Equine Science Center, and director of Rutgers Cooperative Extension. Her research and extension programs concentrate on improving the well-being and the quality of life of the equine athlete while ensuring the vitality and viability of the equine industry, both statewide and nationally. She played a lead role in building the equine science program at Rutgers University and in the formation of the Rutgers Equine Science Center. Dr. Malinowski is the author of over 50 refereed journal articles and abstracts and numerous book chapters. Her expertise in the area of aging and stress management in horses has resulted in her speaking at numerous international venues, and her extension project entitled Careers in the Green Industry, Youth Sow Seeds for Their Future, which involved horses and adjudicated youth, has served as a model for similar programs around the globe. Malinowski was a member of the team which conducted the prize-winning study, The New Jersey Equine Industry 2007, Economic Impact. Without further ado, it is now my privilege to turn it over to Dr. Malinowski for 20 years of excellence at the Rutgers Equine Science Center.
Thank you, Samantha, for that lovely introduction. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending tonight's webinar. I'm very, very pleased and honored to be able to be asked by the Rutgers University Alumni Association to share my passion for horses, the horse industry, and of course, the Rutgers Equine Science Center. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year of the center, but I want to give you folks also a little bit of history because the building of the equine science program at Rutgers University began over 40 years ago. And so we're going to give you a little bit of that history as well, but I'm just very honored to be here with you today. I'm not able to advance my slide. Here we go. Okay, so who we are, folks. Our mission is very simple. We are dedicated to better horse care through research and education. That's what we do. We do not have a veterinary school in New Jersey. We do not fix broken horses, but we conduct research and extend that knowledge to horse owners and our students to prevent horses from being injured in the first place, to advance the well-being and performance of horses and, of course, our equine industry. We also have a vision. We, in 2001, wanted to be recognized locally and globally as the docking station for everything equine. And we accomplish this through a variety of factors. One, we educate our students, our stakeholders, and the general public. And this is important, ladies and gentlemen, because being in New Jersey and talking about today where everything's going crazy after the election, the general public does not know the importance of agriculture and horses to the Garden State. And so Our education to the general public about the importance of the horse industry is paramount. We also are training advocates for the future, not only for the horse industry, but also for agriculturally based industries. And we are finding solutions to challenges impacting the horse industry through science-based inquiry. And more recently, we've added another focus area to our mix, and that is to explore the relationship between horses and humans. So I'm going to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, a quick video where I can introduce my colleagues, Dr. Ken McKeever and Dr. Karyn Williams, to you.
Good morning. Welcome to the George H. Cook campus, home of the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station, School of Environmental Biological Sciences, and of course, home to the Rutgers Equine Science Center. The Equine Science Center is a soft-walled center where we bring together the best and the brightest to solve challenges impacting horses, horse well-being, and the horse industry. To provide you more details about the research being conducted at the Equine Science Center, and specifically the Equine Exercise Physiology Lab, I'd like to introduce Dr. Kenneth McKeever.
The lab was founded in 1995, and since then it's been one of the most productive research labs in the country, if not the world. We've conducted studies looking at how to care for the aged horse. That's a horse that's over 20. We've looked at various drugs that affect performance. We've even done studies for the Army looking at food extracts that can reduce inflammation. So the Equine Science Center and the Equine Exercise Physiology Lab are a valuable asset to how we care for horses in the state of New Jersey.
So we've all visited this morning the Equine Exercise Physiology Lab, part of the Equine Science Center at Rutgers. We have another facility where cutting-edge research is being carried out, located on Riders Lane, and it is the site of the first of its kind environmental best management practices demonstration horse farm, located here on the George H. Cook campus. The team of scientists who are helping horse farmers become better environmental stewards and caretakers of the land is a team of multidisciplinary faculty, students, and staff led by Dr. Karyn Williams, Dr. Mike Westendorf, PhD student Jennifer Weinart, and other faculty, students, and staff from different departments here at Rutgers and beyond.
Hello, I'm Dr. Karyn Williams, the Equine Extension Specialist here at Rutgers University and the Associate Director of Extension for the Equine Science Center. We are here at the Environmental Best Management Practice Demonstration Horse Farm. This serves as a wonderful venue for the public, farm owners, other industry professionals to come look and see the 8 various best management practices, educational venues that they can use on their farm or in their areas. It is open to the public. You can come anytime. This venue also serves as a great location for research. My current graduate student, Jennifer Weinart, is looking at both cool season and some novel warm season grasses to see the production as well as the horse's metabolism. Some glucose and insulin responses as well as the microbiome will be looked at over the next 2 years of this project. Thank you for visiting all of us at the Equine Science Center. Our website can be found at esc.rutgers.edu.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before I move on, I just want to share with you a fact that the credits that you just saw at the end of that video, Kyle Hartman, our public relations specialist, certainly was the lead on this project, the video project, but I want to share with you that all of the people working on the project, the videographer, the writers of the script, etc., are our students, both undergraduate and graduate students. And so I want to share with you that not only do our students get a great foundation in basic sciences, basic animal science, and equine science, they are also learning all other skills that will help them achieve what they want to do in their future lives. Things like graphic design, videography, writing, etc. And before I move on, I just want to share with you why are horses important to New Jersey? Some of you may say, well, New Jersey, the most densely populated state in the nation, has many more problems to deal with than worrying about horses. Why should the State University of New Jersey invest in the equine industry? And I'm going to share a little more about this later, but the Equine Science Center led an economic impact study that was published in 2007 that was the first of its kind for the state of New Jersey. And we found in that study that there were 42,500 equine animals housed in the state of New Jersey, more horses per square mile than any other state in the nation. The horses and their assets, the farms, etc., were valued at $4 billion. The equine industry generates annually $1.1 billion in economic impact. And to put that into perspective, that is about the same as the ag biotech industry, as well as the golf course industries. And the equine industry also generates about 13,000 jobs. But equally, or if not more important, in the most densely populated state in the nation, the equine industry is responsible for supporting 22,000 acres, tax-paying agricultural acres in the Garden State. There are only, ladies and gentlemen, 800,000 agricultural acres left in New Jersey. And so the horse industry is responsible for supporting over 25% of those acres. 176,000 of the equine facility acres themselves, but also 46,000 acres that are devoted to traditional agriculture in producing hay, grain, straw, food, and bedding for those 42,500 horses. And this is important. Agriculture, open space, farmland preservation has always been important to voters in the state of New Jersey. It has never been denied. Any public question on the ballot has always been supported for open space by voters in New Jersey. So horses certainly are important to the preservation of agriculture in the Garden State, if we are going to continue to be the Garden State. Our history. Beginnings in 1978, what was then Cook College, now the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences, established an equine science program as part of the Department of Animal Science. We focused on conducting research in the areas of exercise physiology, aging, growth and development, and nutrition. Students at Rutgers University can still major in animal sciences with a concentration or emphasis in equine science and be fully prepared to enter the equine profession upon graduation. Some of you may ask, what do most of our students do when they leave? Most of our students carry on to veterinary school or other professional schools and graduate school. But what I'm very proud of, and the Equine Science Center certainly was the lead in this, and our extension program, is that horse enthusiasts of all levels and industry professionals can benefit from our program's research, because we do not just publish a paper in a refereed journal article and put it on a shelf. We are very proud at delivering things like our webinar tonight, delivering to you through our successful outreach component. And we're proud of that because we put things into language that everyone can understand and take it to improve their management of their horses and their horse farms. So in the beginning, laying the groundwork, God, I can't believe it was so long ago. I was hired in 1978 as an extension equine specialist. I was the first female equine extension specialist in the United States. I had 43 male peers from surrounding states all over the nation. And I thank them every day for their support. I never felt intimidated or different from them. And I was embraced by all of them and began my career jump-started by their support. I also was the first female in the faculty member in the Department of Animal Sciences at Rutgers, and I'm very fortunate to have a male mentor who was very well respected by the high administration at Rutgers University, and hence Professor Oleski showed me the ropes of getting through the the very difficult system of Rutgers University, and I must admit it turned out to be very successful. So I began in 1978, and so we began developing the equine science program way before the development of the Equine Science Center. And I must add, before we say that the center was recognized in 2001, in 1991, the Equine Science group at Rutgers, we hired Dr. Sarah Ralston in 1989, Dr. Ken McKeever in 1995 to join us as faculty members. We began in 1991 what we now know as the Rutgers University Board for Equine Advancement. The first chair of that board was Taylor Palmer Jr., and he and other industry leaders went to the state legislature and asked for financial support to develop an equine science program at Rutgers. What ended up happening, ladies and gentlemen, was that the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station acquired $1 million a year as a line item in the budget to the experiment station, $300,000 of which came to the equine program. We used that money to certainly start to build an equine research program, to upgrade the facilities. For example, we moved where some of you who have visited the Red Barn, where we have the Equine Exercise Physiology Lab, that was all pig pastures. And so they were pig pens. And we moved with equine money, with money from the experiment station in the state, we moved the pigs to a wonderful new facility across Sheepfolds Lane. We were able to provide a startup package for Ken McKeever when we hired him in 1995, et cetera. So we really have all of the diamond mesh fencing that you see around the Cook farm was all provided through money from this line item. With then Department Chair Harold Hafes, he and I realized that there were increasing challenges impacting the future of the horse industry in New Jersey. Again, being the most densely populated state in the nation. And so we realized and felt that we needed to go beyond animal science. We needed great minds to bring together teams to solve these challenges. And so we felt that an equine science center was important. And February of 2001, the Rutgers University Board of Governors named the Equine Science Center as an official center at Rutgers. And I thankfully was appointed as the founding director of that center. In 2002, we launched our first website. It was a commercial site, again, primitive, but it functioned. And in 2006, we awarded our first Spirit of the Horse Award. This was given to Sandy Donarski, who was a chair of the Rutgers University Board for Equine Advancement. This award recognizes still to this day individuals whose lives have been profoundly impacted by horses and who have acknowledged this impact by giving back to the horse industry. And Ms. Donarski is still a friend of the Equine Science Center and a wonderful recipient of this award. This award is given annually at our Evening of Science and Celebration, which by chance happens to be November 11th, Thursday night, beginning at 6 p.m., which you guys can all sign up for on our website. And this year's recipient will be Assemblyman Ron Dancer, another very worthy candidate for this award. Now, I mentioned this before, but we'll go back to this. The economic impact study published in 2007 was the first of its kind for the state of New Jersey. And I just want to share, ladies and gentlemen, how important this work was. First of all, I want to recognize partners. The horse industry came to the Equine Science Center in 2006 saying, we are in trouble. Horse racing is in trouble. We need to document our importance to legislators. Will you help us? And so the industry itself put money into this project. We partnered with our wonderful partners at the National Ag Statistics Service, NASS. Troy Joshua was the leader of NASS at the time, a wonderful, wonderful gentleman who was a fabulous partner in this project. We couldn't have done it without NASS. But importance, this is still the gold standard. It served as the template for not only economic impact studies for equine industries around the country, it still serves as a template for other agricultural commodities. And so this was important. It provided data. The first time that the equine industry had economic data that showed its importance. And as I showed you in a previous slide, the importance of the land. It's not in New Jersey just about the dollars, it's about preserving tax-paying agricultural landscape. And so this study still stands and serves as a gold standard moving forward of showing how to do a study of economic impact for the horse industry. In 2008, we unveiled the first of its kind, the nation's first environmental best management practices demonstration horse farm at Riders Lane, which is here on the George H. Cook campus. This, again, was a partnership, an investment of over $2 million. Partners were EPA Region 2, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, New Jersey Department of Agriculture, and of course, the Experiment Station and the Rutgers Equine Science Center. As Dr. Williams shared with you in the video clip, this still stands as a beautiful place that people can come, they can look at the best management practices themselves, and we also use the facility for twilight meetings and other educational programs, and there certainly is an entire outline of the farm on our website. Going forward on Riders Lane and moving into 2009 in our history, the Department of Agriculture came up with the times, especially with the Chesapeake Basin, et cetera, coming into compliance with an animal waste management rule. The number of horses on a farm, etc. And so we were approached by the Department of Agriculture to assist them in providing an educational campaign on helping New Jersey farm owners not only to come into compliance, but also to learn more about the rule. And so we thought, well, let's come up with something catchy. And we thought we would come back or bring back as a professor emeritus, an equine professor emeritus, our beloved Lord Nelson, who was on the Mounted Patrol from 1978 to 2000 for 23 years. He retired in 2000, and we decided who better to teach people about the animal waste management rule but Lord Nelson. Now, some of you who are alum, and all of you are alums, and will remember that Lord Nelson, when he was on the Mounted Patrol, also was brought regularly to the home football games, and he would mosey around in the crowd during tailgating, but he also would be out in the field. And his claim to fame was during the game against Army at the Meadowlands. It was at the stadium. It wasn't MetLife Stadium then, but the old stadium, at the Giant Stadium at the Meadowlands. Lord Nelson was on the field, and as Rutgers lined up to kick an after point after a touchdown, the rider of Lord Nelson was asked a linesman judge, did he have time to go downfield? And I guess he was given the okay. However, as Lord Nelson galloped down the field, the ball was snapped, the ball was kicked, and Lord Nelson Rutgers received an unsportsmanlike penalty of 15 yards for having an extra man or extra horse on the field. Rutgers then lined up and missed that extra point and almost lost the game because of that mishap. So Lord Nelson has a wonderful history with Rutgers, and he continued, and he still continues as an equine professor emeritus, beginning this campaign. The scoop on poop was a phrase coined by Dr. Mike Westendorf's one of his sons, who said, "Dad, this would be great. Call it the scoop on poop." And those of us who still have these mouse pads and other things, refrigerator magnets, it was a huge success. And Lord Nelson continued. Lord Nelson continues his work. In 2010, we launched our youth portal on our website called Equine Science for Kids to teach young people STEM education through horses and Lord Nelson. In 2013, we awarded our first gold medal horse farm award. This is an award in cooperation with the New Jersey Department of Agriculture, and it recognizes outstanding environmental stewardship to a horse farm located in New Jersey. And this is an award given annually at our Evening of Science and Celebration, and it will be given on November 11th to Topline Farm from Hunterdon County. And in 2015 and 16, we already had a new website, a revised website, and many of you have visited this in the past, and I would encourage you to continue to. But with the addition of Kyle Hartman to our team here at the Equine Science Center, Kyle began to rebrand all of the Equine Science Center materials to have it look more like the website. And so our newsletter, our brochures, and other things have been updated and changed. In 2017, in celebration of our 15th anniversary, we hosted a 2-day-long symposium at the new Livingston Campus Student Center, and it was called Horses 2017, The Best of the Best. And what Dr. Williams, Dr. McKeever, and I did was canvassed the outstanding speakers over the last 40 years at the horse management seminars. And we looked at the most popular of those speakers, and we brought them all back for 2 days. And it was a fabulous, fabulous symposium. We had a lot of sponsors, and over 300 people were in attendance for the 2 days. We also at that event were presented with a congressional certificate from Representative Donald Norcross and a special proclamation from the governor's office sponsored by Senator Bob Smith and New Jersey Assemblyman Joseph Egan and Joseph Danielson. But it was a great, great event. And in 2018, we began rebranding Equine Science for Kids, again under the leadership of Kyle Hartman and our students, Jennifer Weinert, Ellen Rankins. Pictured here is Elena Rizzo, who's now finishing veterinary school. I can't believe it already at Michigan State. But these young people get the opportunity at the center to work on these various projects. So we're expanding equine science for kids to include new games, activities, and handouts to complement the online version of the program. And what Elena is showing to 4-H members here is how to determine the sex and age of a horse by looking at its teeth. And so big posters, the kids had great times working in teams on these, determining what the sex of an individual horse was and also its age. And beginning, probably in 2010, I was concerned. After the 2007 economic impact study, the future of horse racing and its ability to remain competitive with neighboring states who had support for horse racing purses from other sources of revenue. We didn't have it. And so I began in about 2010 to look at the future of the horse racing industry and how that would impact all of the horse industry in the state of New Jersey, because our 2007 economic impact study showed us that 3/4 of the economic impact was due to horse racing. And so we all know that while there are more sport and recreation horses in the Garden State, horse racing still is the economic driving engine of the Garden State. And so I began doing these reports in support of horse racing. And the data in the 2019 racing report was used to help the horse industry secure $20 million annually for horse racing for a period of 5 years, for a total of $100 million to go to both thoroughbred and standardbred horse racing purses in New Jersey. And so our work at the center continues to help support the equine industry. Wow. 2020, as we all know, was one hell of a year. And it's still a heck of a year in 2021. Our research in 2020 with COVID-19 came to a halt. And so we are behind in a lot of the work that we would have been doing. But working with Kyle Hartman and all of us at the center, we said, well, we're going to take this virtually. And we did. And so beginning, early March, April of last year, we started to look into all of our resources. And every Friday, we put out what we called Keeping Engaged While Keeping Safe, resources to keep you busy while you stay at home. And so we put together a group of resources, Equine Science Center resources, fact sheets, podcasts, webinars, our colleagues around the nation on a topic. So say it was equine nutrition or the older horse. And we listed every Friday a list of resources that people could go and actually learn about the topic virtually. And then what was really fun, on Tuesdays, last August, every Tuesday night, we held an Equine Trivia Tuesday for kids. Topics ranging from anatomy, biosecurity, pasture, etc., exercise physiology. And we had young people from around the country joining us every Tuesday night. And via the platform Kahoot, they were able to win prizes and compete with each other. We had a young person from Texas, we had people from Colorado, and we had a father and daughter team from Saratoga Springs, which joined us every single Tuesday night, and it was great fun. And we also, in August of last summer, offered a series of lectures for the general public. And something that we are waiting to launch, even though it was developed in 2020, is a new Equine Science for Kids activity book, accompanied by coloring pencils. This, again, was a project of the center and our students. There are pieces written and designed under Kyle's leadership by our grad and undergraduate students. And it is a fabulous book. We've given out some to a couple of events that we've been to, but we're looking forward to really launching these possibly at the next in-person Ag Field Day. It's a lovely, lovely book. So our focus areas, and ladies and gentlemen, we revisit these with our stakeholders every year. They tell us whether we're still in the right direction, and under these focus areas, what are the key challenges? Equine health and well-being, first and foremost. We personally own, love, and use horses. My colleagues and I do. Land use policy and management is important. Environmental stewardship is important. The integrity of equestrian sport is important, and economic growth and industry sustainability is something that I think about every single day. So if we break these down and we look into these, I want to begin by saying in equine health and well-being that the Equine Science Center has led a team of scientists investigating the physiology of aging in horses. We know more about aging process in horses than any institution in the world. And we are collaborating. There's a group of people now who are working on looking at the aging process in horses, but especially with the Equine Exercise Physiology Lab, we've been able to look at the impact and the positive attributes of exercise on the older horse, just like we see in people. Exercise is a good thing, but we know more about taking care of the older horse than any institution in the world. I'll end with this piece here with Ms. Rankins, but Dylan Klein is a former PhD student who looked at the effects of exercise on skeletal muscle metabolism. He is now an assistant professor at Rowan University in the exercise science department. So people can take their work in horses and then translate it also to human physiology as well. Again, the horse is the best model we have for human medicine of any animal model. We collaborated several years ago with Dr. Molly McHugh at the University of Minnesota on the Equine Genome project. We sampled over 600 standardbred horses in the tri-state area in 48 hours. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. So again, we are out there in a multidisciplinary fashion, collaborating with other institutions. And then now we are looking at a very in-depth study of measuring physiological measurements in both horses and veterans who have been diagnosed with PTSD using equine-assisted activities. This is a current project of Ellen Rankins, who is a PhD candidate here at Rutgers, and we are currently conducting this research. Again, a lot of equipment and things that have never been measured in horses and humans together. And things such as surface EMG of looking at muscle tension. Again, heart rate variability in both the human and the horse. And of course, all of the blood measurements that we, hormonal measurements that we're taking in real time during these interactions. And I was there all day today, and it's going, guys. And the veterans are extremely, extremely appreciative. We have a wonderful collaborative relationship with both the New Jersey Farm Bureau, which is the political arm, the lobbying arm for agriculture, and a wonderful relationship with the Department of Agriculture as well. We also participate in other agricultural venues like the Open Space PACE, which hasn't taken place for the last 2 years because of COVID, but this is held in September. It's an agricultural fair held at Freehold Raceway. So we're actively involved in land use policy and management. Environmental stewardship. Again, enough said on the Riders Lane farm, and Dr. now, Jennifer Weinert, will be sharing some of her latest research on November 11th, the evening of science and celebration. Dr. McKeever and I are also very engaged in preserving the integrity of equestrian sport, not only for racing, but all equestrian sport. We do have the wonderful Equine Exercise Physiology Lab, and we're interested in looking at the effects of performance-altering drugs on horse health and well-being, not only, ladies and gentlemen, from a regulatory standpoint. Sure, we want to keep a level playing field and keep the crooks out of the business, but we are interested in knowing what these agents do to the horse. And as Dr. McKeever says, if it does nothing to affect horse performance, why are we testing for it? And so we're helping the regulatory agencies to detect these drugs, but we also are looking at the physiology of what happens when these agents are given to our horses. And economic growth and industry sustainability. The economic impact study of 2007 set us off in this direction. We at the center realize that young people are the future of our industry. And so equine science for kids is very, very important to us. And again, these Health of New Jersey's horse racing reports, we keep doing them ongoing. They have been successful, and they're showing where we are in comparison to other states. In recognition of our 20 years of excellence, we in 2021 during the month of the horse. And folks, June is the month of the horse in the state of New Jersey. We are mentioned in the proclamation recognizing the month of the horse, but then also presented in June at the Horse Park of New Jersey during an award ceremony. We received a resolution from the Senate and General Assembly signed by Senator Sweeney and Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, recognizing our excellence, and also a special recognition from the governor's office on the 20th anniversary of the Rutgers Equine Science Center. We love horses. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, for the love of horses. All of the work a lot of the work that I've presented to you this evening was funded from that line item appropriation of $300,000 from the state. That came to an end. It began in 1991. It ended in 2010. So we funded a lot of work for those 30 years or so with that line item. However, thanks to generosity from folks like yourselves, we have been able to fund at least 3 research projects annually. We have 2 endowments at the foundation, the interest of which funds 2 of those projects. And then people were so interested in the new Veterans Equine Assisted Activities Research Project that the last 2 Rutgers Giving Days, we've been able to fund Ellen's research in total. We also have a separate line item, thanks to Governor Richard Cody, that has been able to enabled us to purchase all of the high-tech equipment that Ellen needed for that project. So folks, please consider, we need your support now more than ever. We don't have that line item anymore, but you folks have all been very generous, and we continue to ask you to support the Rutgers Equine Science Center through your generosity and a gift to the foundation, to the Equine Science Excellence Fund. I want to invite you all to our Evening of Science and Celebration, which is next Thursday, November 11th, beginning at 6 p.m. It is virtual and it is free of charge. And again, it's Veterans Day. So we're going to be honoring some of our veterans. We're certainly going to be honoring Assemblyman Ronald Dancer, but please visit our website at esc.rutgers.edu and help us continue our better horse care through research and education. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. We've had a few questions come in. So involving the Equine Science for Kids program, do you have programs that specifically cover learning about horse care?
Thank you, Samantha. I needed a swig there.
Of course.
Yes. So a lot of the virtual learning as well as our in-person learnings, we do a lot of horse care work. You know, it's really science-based, but it certainly also has drilled down to the level of basic horse care. You know, we don't teach young people how to brush a horse, for instance, but how to feed horses, how to exercise horses, how to care for the older horse, etc. We certainly do that virtually. So the we have in March, I'm totally drawing a senior moment because we haven't had it in 2 years, an on-campus venue where we have 4-H kids and all livestock species come in, and we have a horse. It's on a Saturday, and it's the Junior Breeders Symposium, and we have, thank you, Kyle. We have kids come in, and probably about 70 young people interested in horses, and we do a variety of things: behavior, nutrition, forage, you name it. So yes, we do reach out to young people, especially through our 4-H program, which is in every county in New Jersey.
Wonderful. And where can the activity book be purchased?
I guess people can certainly, or Kyle's going to put us in the chat again. Email us at esc@njaes.rutgers.edu, and we will be able to mail those out to you. But yeah, we are so wanting to just have an event and give. They are so fabulous, and we've had esc@njaes.rutgers.edu. We've had people buy them in bulk for like camps and stuff, you know. So we aren't having activities yet on campus with outside people, but we are able to go to activities off campus that other people are sponsoring and bring those books. So we have given out some of them, Sam, but not as many as we want to, because it's a fabulous, fabulous book.
All right. What do you see as the direction of the future of equine studies for Rutgers? What areas of growth and partnerships do you see as opportunities in the next 5 years?
Okay, great question. Again, we are collaborating much more with industry and sponsorship. For instance, Zoetis and other partners are certainly coming together with us. I think industry leaders, again, racing is going to need us to continue to need us to help them move forward and continue to stay viable. We're also, this whole equine, and the new term, ladies and gentlemen, is equine assisted services. That's the general term now, whether it be therapeutic riding, assisted therapies, it's now equine assisted services. So we're have some people who are interested in partnering with us based on our science, you know, coming forward of seeing how beneficial this may be to a variety of persons, not just veterans, but young kids with autism or other people with developmental problems, etc. So I think that's going to be a future moving forward. And I still think that the looking at performance altering substances, this is going to be a continued effort going forward. You know, I mean, the Breeders' Cup Thoroughbred races are next week. And we still have issues on the Kentucky Derby winner from this past year, etc. So that challenge is never going to go away. I don't like to use the word problem, but that challenge is never going to go away. And so the Equine Science Center is on top of that. But again, engaging our young people, keeping the horse industry at the forefront of all agricultural commodities. And again, we're there. We've worked very hard to have this presence. Again, Kyle has done a fabulous job at keeping the website and the newsletter up to date. I think those of you who did not read it, just came out last week. The newsletter this fall gave a history of the center, but it's a good one. It's fun and it's educational, but it's fun. So we're at the forefront, Sam.
Fantastic. Okay. How can New Jersey horse owners support the mission and work of the Equine Science Center?
By supporting us financially with a wonderful donation, which is tax deductible.
Can you tell us when the Ag Field Day will occur? And they say, great job and thank you.
It's always the last Saturday in April, and it's been virtual the last 2 years. So whether in 2022 we're going to be back in person, but we'll have something for you. But it's always the last Saturday in April.
Fantastic. Okay, is there a source to follow the studies on the relationship between horses and humans?
So yes, I did a pivotal, did a paper, a pilot study published in 2008. No, that's wrong. 2018 on looking at PTSD in veterans. And that's what started this whole thing. But as Ellen's work continues to be published and as we move forward, we will be able to share that information with you. That, we put press releases out and links. We have open access to all of those journal articles. And again, at our virtual and in-person presentations, like on November 11th, Ellen's going to give an update on where she is with her research. So keep joining us, guys. Keep joining us.
All right, we got 2 last questions. We'll go through them quickly. Outside of racing industry, do you do research on or partner with specific breed organizations?
The answer is yes and no. So individual breed organizations have supported our research because even though we have a generic herd of standardbred horses for our research herd, but the work we do is really applicable. So the aging work, Sam, the aging work impacts all horses, irrespective of breed. So much of our work is for the well-being of all horses. We just happen to have a genetically similar group of horses. But we don't have, our teaching herd. We have 2 thoroughbreds. We have a chubby one, whatever. He's a mix of some sort. We've had saddlebreds. We've had, whatever. So the teaching herd, which is 6 horses, are several different breeds. But our research herd is all standardbred horses, geldings and mares. And but again, the work we do, other than a specific project that really is specific to racing, it's applicable to all breeds of horses.
Great. And last question, any possibility of partnering with Centenary's Therapeutic riding program for future studies?
We do. We do. Kelly Munns, the chairman of the department, is wonderful. And our partners in the therapeutic program, they've helped us send veterans our way. Octavia Brown is now retired, but no, Centenary received the Gold Medal Horse Farm Award last year. So they are a wonderful partner with us. And yes, we love Centenary. Dr. Mike Figaro, who was a veterinarian on their staff for years, is one of our board members. And so we have a wonderful, wonderful relationship with Centenary and Delaware Valley University. Again, we're different, guys. We do different things. And so we get students from both of those universities come for a science experience and a research experience at Rutgers. And then if we have, say, someone who's interested in repro, we send them to DVU, because we don't breed horses here in New Brunswick at Rutgers. And when we have someone who's interested in therapeutic riding and learning about becoming a therapeutic riding instructor, we send them to Centenary. So we have a wonderful, wonderful relationship with both of those neighboring universities. And again, as Dr. McKeever says, come play in our sandbox. We love collaborating with people. Believe it or not, guys, the University of Kentucky does not have an exercise physiology lab. So we get the great scientists from the University of Kentucky, my dear friend David Horhoff, Amanda Adams, Christine Urschel, and others. When they need a high-speed treadmill, where do they come? They come to New Jersey and Rutgers. So this just fosters a wonderful marriage of 2 great institutions. Kentucky, supposedly the horse capital of the world. No, they come to New Jersey to do their work here. So it's wonderful, guys. It works. I don't feel in competition with anybody, and I never have. And I think that's what makes the center so special and our team so special. We are not ego driven. We are not, we don't care. We just want to do the best to address the challenge. That's what made our work with NAS and Troy so fabulous. Do the job right. Do the best we can, get the money to support the project, and do it. And that's what we've done for the last 20 years.
Fantastic. All right, that was our last question. Thank you so much, Dr. Malinowski, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you will join us again for another virtual event, and stay connected at ouralumni.com. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.